Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Easy Psycho. It's been a long time since we last came back to doing combat arms reviews, so here we go. Let's get started with the family of the PSG-1 rifle reviews. For some reason, I feel like in the back of my head I've already done these reviews, but I could be wrong. If I've already done these reviews and these new this family of reviews for the PSG-1 family turn out to be duplicates, then I apologize. But if I did do those reviews, they were probably so long ago that it's kind of hazy in my mind, so let's just act as if I never did these reviews to begin with. So, here we go, the PSG-1 review. So, like with every first video of every family reviews, the PSG-1, just going over some in real life facts, the PSG-1 is indeed, like basically every other gun in Combat Arms, is indeed an in real life gun. It's called the Precision Shooter Rifle, or at least that's what the English translation for the German name is called. And as you guys probably can infer from that, the PSG-1 is indeed a German rifle developed by the famous German gun company Heckler & Koch, or H&K. More famously known as, and it's a semi-automatic sniper rifle, just like it is in Combat Arms. Well, technically it's an automatic, but everyone lumps it together with semi-automatic anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The PSG-1 is basically a heavily modified G3 design. If you guys are aware of the G3 assault rifle or battle rifle, it can be either. It can be classified. It is either or. In Combat Arms, you guys probably have heard of the G3 rifle, not the G36. That's because some people call the G36 the G3 as an acronym, but there is an actual G3 rifle, in case you guys didn't know, and it's heavily based off that. And rumor has it that it's not confirmed, but apparently the PSG-1 was developed in response to the Munich massacre back in 1972 during the 72 Summer Olympics. So if you guys don't know your history or your modern history, back then they had a hostage situation, and yeah, the German counterterrorism force couldn't really get to them in time, and everyone died. Bad, tragic ending, I know. But the PSG-1 is said to have been developed as a direct response to this, so I guess now because of that, because of all those people killed, we now have a fancy new rifle. Whoop-de-doo. Funnily enough, just one last note about the in real life PSG-1 and its variants. The PSG-1 mod and the PSG-1 mod camo that you see in game in Combat Arms is they're actually well, not historically, but they're actually realistically accurate, because in game in Combat Arms, the PSG-1 mod and the PSG-1 mod camo both come with integrated silencers. And according to the wiki on the PSG-1, apparently the PSG-1 actually has an official silencer, and that's supplied by a Swiss defense company by the name of Brugger and Thomet, or Thomet. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's apparently what they're called. So the PSG-1 mod and the PSG-1 mod silencers, or the PSG-1 mod camos silencers, are actually technically correct. So it's kind of a funny thing. I just thought Combat Arms just threw those integrated silencers on there just to mix up a little bit, like they do with half their NX standard or variant sniper rifles anyway. But in this case, it's actually kind of accurate. So who knew? Alright, moving on from the in real life stuff, because that probably bores the shit out of most of you. The in-game stats for the PSG-1. One thing to note for you guys, the viewers, for every single review from here on out, I will not be mentioning the cost or rank requirement, because of how the new weapon system or the arsenal is kind of categorized and organized now after the reboot operation patch. Basically, most guns, like you can clearly see that there are several tiers of weapons, and each tier, all the weapons inside a particular tier all have the same rank requirement, the same cost, and the same rent or properties, or like that. Main things are they have the same rank requirement and the same cost. So if you guys, I will be putting their costs down there in the description below, but just for future reference, in case you guys notice that I haven't been mentioning the cost at all or rank requirement, just remember that I don't feel like I need to say them, because they're all basically uniform anyway. So just wanted to get that out of the way. So, moving on directly to the stats, because we don't need to care about talking about the cost or anything. The PSG-1 deals a 95 damage, has a 32 portability, has a 20 rate of fire, has a 90 accuracy, and a 55 recoil. Now, judging by these, or judging the PSG-1 by these statistics, the PSG-1 is a strong two-shot sniper rifle. Having a damage rating of 95 is definitely very strong. It's definitely stronger than basically every other semi-automatic or fully automatic sniper rifle that we've reviewed thus far. So you can rely on the PSG-1 for very high damage if in terms of semi-automatics. Obviously, it's still not a one-shot kill, but you get the point. It's still a very, very heavy two-shot kill. If your target's nicked at all, if like they took a little bit of fall damage, they should die with one hit. In fact, the PSG-1 is actually so strong that you can actually one-shot people to the back with the PSG-1 quite easily. And in fact, there is a slight chance that you can actually one-shot a light vester or recon vest to the front, and that's how strong it is. But again, in most cases, you just still have to expect a two-shot kill. The portability of 32, I guess you could say it's kind of average. I believe the L96A1 actually has a 40 portability, so this actually means that the PSG-1 is actually very heavy in terms of as far as overall portability goes. I'm pretty sure the M107 only has a 30 portability, something like that as well. So if that's the case, then the PSG-1 is actually one of the heaviest sniper rifle families in the entire game. So, whoa, that's kind of bad. The rate of fire on the PSG-1 is indeed a 20. I don't think this is accurate because back in when I did the MSG-90 reviews, and by the way, the MSG-90 is a direct cousin of the PSG-1. The MSG-90, the original one, has like a 10 rate of fire or something like that. Or technically it says it's listed as 20, but if it's 20, it has to be wrong because either the PSG-1 has like 40 rate of fire now, or it has 20 rate of fire, whereas the MSG-90 only has 10 rate of fire. So don't trust the rate of fire on the Commonwealth Wiki too much, but in any case, it fires relatively fast. I mean, it's not like an M14 EB or anything like that where it shoots like ridiculously, retardedly fast. So rate of fire you don't need to worry about. It's fast enough. Accuracy is a 90, which means it's not all that accurate. And the fact that the PSG-1, we'll go over this later, but the fact that the PSG-1 only has a half zoom scope compared to your default 4x zoom scope like you would see on an M24 and L96A1 means that the PSG-1, surprisingly enough, accuracy is not its forte here. Which is kind of strange because if you have a sniper rifle, you kind of expect the accuracy to be kind of high, But the PSG-1's accuracy, when you compare it to other sniper rifles, it sucks dick. So this makes the PSG-1, in other words, an excellent mid-range sniper rifle. But if you want to try shooting people at long range, you may as well just use a G36, because at least the G36 has a deeper zoom scope, for God's sake. So yeah, don't try long range scoping with this thing. The recoil is at a 55, which normally it doesn't really matter, but we'll talk about this a little bit more. But the recoil is actually a factor with the PSG-1, obviously, because it's an automatic sniper rifle. So let's go into detail of that right now, actually. So there are two things that I really, really hate about the PSG-1 that make me really annoyed whenever I use this gun. First of all, the PSG-1 has a very slow center speed. I've already explained what center speed is multiple times before, so if you guys do not know what I'm talking about, then I highly recommend you guys check out my earlier sniper rifle videos where I do explain about, explain center speed in a little bit more detail. But if you guys, for those guys who do know or do remember what I keep talking about in terms of center speed, the PSG-1 has a ridiculously slow center speed, especially for its own rate of fire, which means that at mid-range or at long ranges, if you go full auto, your shots will not hit where they belong. That's just simple as that. The PSG-1 has very slow center speed. It's not the slowest in the game, but it's annoying enough to the point where it's slow enough to the point where it will annoy you, or you will definitely notice it when you try going full auto and trying to gun someone down at mid-range or something like that, which is really, really annoying because the PSG-1 is supposed to be good at mid-range, or statistically speaking, that's what it's supposed to be good at. But if it can't even do that, then what's the point of having it, Not only that, but also the PSG-1, not only is the center speed wonky, but also the recoil is also very wonky as well. In terms of recoil, I don't really mean the physical, the view kick, like what your scope looks like when you first take a shot, but where your scope lands on on your screen. Because normally, what most sniper rifles are supposed to do is when you take a shot, it's supposed to bounce and then return to the center again, right? Well, the PSG-1 doesn't do that. It says "fuck you" to your aim and your screen, and when you shoot it, not only does it jerk up a little bit slightly to the right or a little bit slightly to the left, but also it kind of lands a little bit left or to the right of where your scope originally was. So it's because of that weird mechanic, the PSG-1, you often find yourself, especially if you're shooting at a solitary target or like a stationary target. Stationary is the word I meant to say. Who's just standing still, and not doing anything and not giving a shit, oftentimes you'll find that when you scope in and you start spraying at that dude, you find that your scope actually bounces around him, which is very, very odd. And I don't know why the PSG-1 would do that, but it does. So those two reasons, the wonky or the slow center speed, and the wonky ass recovery. I should say recoil recovery, that is, because that's technically what it is. But because of those two things, the PSG-1 is really, really annoying. If the PSG-1 didn't have those two problems, I wouldn't really mind it as a sniper rifle, because this half zoom scope, not a lot of people might like it because obviously it's a less magnified view on your target. But I think it's good on PSG-1 because it's the only family of sniper rifles that has or features an LA6 style scope. The green crosshairs with the little hashes on on each of the crosshairs. But also it only zooms in halfway, so it only zooms in maybe a little bit deeper than an ACOG scope on an assault rifle or something like that. But yeah, I think it's pretty unique and I think it's a good thing. Problem is, if there are two big reasons why you shouldn't use, or that make the PSG-1 suck at what it's supposed to be good at, then it kind of discourages people from using the PSG-1 at all. So I think those are kind of the things that, the PSG-1 really needs to kind of work on. Or if Nexon ever decides to buff the PSG, then they know what to buff, because I just mentioned it in this video. And they better watch this video, or else I will get freaking pissed. No, I actually am not. I don't care what Nexon does. Well, actually I do, but in terms of, I don't care if they watch my videos or not. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked, as I always do. So, modifications, as far as they go, the PSG-1 can attach suppressors and magazines. Because the damage on the PSG-1 is already so high anyway, it shouldn't really matter if you put a suppressor on it or not. Just remember that if you do put a suppressor on it, you may have to sacrifice that one-shot kill ability on the backs of people, of light vesters and medium vesters. But how likely are you going to be able to get into that kind of situation with the PSG-1, right? So you can put a suppressor all you want. I won't get mad at you. Also, one thing that I would like to mention is that before, when Commodore first implemented the PSG-1 into the game, it wasn't one of the starting sniper rifles, that's for sure, and it had to be patched in like maybe a year or two into open beta or public, when it was fully released. The PSG-1 actually started with only 5 rounds in magazine and 15 rounds in reserve, which is realistically accurate to the original PSG-1 sniper rifle in real life, which has a 5-round box magazine. But I guess as a balance factor, because they got a lot, I'm guessing it's because they got a lot of complaints from people who tried using PSG-1 and complained too much that PSG-1 sucks and there's no reason for it to be in the game. Nexon did quietly buff the PSG-1. They didn't make any official announcement about it or anything, but they did make it so that the PSG-1's actually all PSG variants, except for the PSG-1 mod camo, which always had 10 rounds in the magazine. Every single PSG-1 variant, other than the PSG-1 mod camo, got its ammunition capacity buffed from 5 out of 15 to 7 out of 21. So this is kind of this is actually very strange for me, because I'm still kind of, a part of my brain is still very used to using the PSG-1 as a 5-round sniper rifle. So oftentimes, especially in this gameplay, or in the gameplays that you'll see me use for these for my PSG-1 family of reviews, you oftentimes see me reloading a lot when my magazine has 5 bullets, because that's really what I was used to when I was playing with the PSG-1 back in the day when it's first released. So yeah, it's kind of a strange quirk, I guess, on my part, but I guess that old habits die hard, I guess, for lack of a better term. So yeah, the PSG-1 did get quietly buffed, kind of like how the MSG-90 got quietly nerfed in the same sense, because Nexon never really announces any buffs or nerfs that they do to any of their guns, because they're all scumbags, but whatever. But yeah, I guess it's a good thing, right? I mean, it never hurts to have more ammo, even if it's kind of weird. But yeah, whatever. Other than that, though, of my overall opinions on the PSG-1, don't use it. It has a use, it has a role, but it's kind of like, well, when you have so many other better sniper rifles, especially better semi-automatic or fully automatic sniper rifles, what's the point of using the PSG-1? Like, really? There's really no point. And I mean, it's nice that it did get a buff. It's one of the few GP weapons that did receive a buff, or in fact, it's one of the few weapons that you know, its entire family all got buffs except for like one variant or two. But other than that, like even still, having more ammunition is nice. But if you still can't hit a damn thing with those 2 extra bullets, it's kind of pointless. So yeah, I don't know what else to really say about the PSG-1. I mean, I don't want to call it bad, but compared to what other sniper rifles can do, it's kind of out of place. And while the half zoom scope is definitely a unique quirk that only the PSG-1 variants have, even still, it's not very useful, especially for a sniper rifle where it's supposed to be good at long range, except when you give it a half zoom scope. How is it supposed to be good at long range? You can only zoom in halfway as much as you can with a, a normal sniper rifle, right? But anyways, I digress. I'm ranting too much. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you guys for watching the video. I think I already mentioned that. Oh god, here I go repeating my words again. And yeah, look forward to the other reviews that we'll be doing for all the other variants of the PSG-1 family. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.